Dr. Paul, we'd like to invite you to this presentation by Team Futures. We're here to turn around a failing college by focusing on the learner, zero tolerance on bad quality, no quality at all, and also finance. If there's surplus spending, then that's going to stop. It's not required. We have a range of qualities that are born from industry and also the sector as itself. And we have experience from both OLAS and from the FE sector. Okay? And our aim is to ensure that learner experience is optimised and time is optimised so that we get more learners through the door and we get more funding per learner. And the team will now introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, Dr. Paul. My name's Dan Hobbs. I'm the Head of Finance. We're working with a downloadable budget that's set by the SFA, the Skills Funding Agency. And last year the department had a similar downloadable budget as we've got this year. We're currently operating at 20% ahead this year compared to this time last year in terms of that downloadable target. We've forecast a total of, and we're profiled to 124% money that can be transferred from other underperforming establishments. The fund is maximised by exploiting courses that meet the needs of our population whilst attracting the largest amount of money as it can do from the most expensive courses in terms of that download. In that way, with keeping our baseline in mind, looking at our profile, taking calculated risks, will influence change through funding innovative projects which will improve the learner's experience, motivating the learners to succeed, motivating our team to help the learners to continue to succeed and maximise on the funding.
Okay. Thanks, Dan. So my name is Danielle. I'm Head of Strategy and Business Development. I have concrete experience of leading change and turning around a provision. My direct experience came at Weston College, where I turned around the LDD provision that's in place. When I joined the team, the numbers were extremely low. There was a very unmotivated team there. There was a lack of policy, quality and structure there. And I led that change, and my response was to implement my improvement plan. I decided to bring my own creative ideas. One of those examples is employer engagement, and leading that change, implementing new curriculums, implementing new systems for staff and new structures, quality assurance policies, and all of that I incorporated into my improvement plan. Now, ultimately, that response led to significant changes in the department. One example I want to give you is Ollie. He was already in the college, he was on a level 3 programme. He didn't have the social skills or the employability skills required to make that transition to higher education. We worked with him within that department, implementing the curriculum which I had developed. And as a result, he is now in university, he has a part-time job, and his needs around his autism were met. And those changes are just one example of a student that I helped, and how I helped the staff to develop that. So ultimately, the changes that I brought into that LDD provision increased student numbers by 200%. Staff motivation went up, they felt empowered, they brought in their own creative ideas. And as a result, high needs funding increased within the college, which is a significant amount. Overall, I feel that my skills really bring about a change within a team. I can go into a new college and bring my enthusiasm to motivate the staff there, and ultimately bringing creative ideas which can lead this college into a more successful future.
Afternoon, Dr. Paul. My name is Tanya Gardner, and I see the importance of student services. And through student services, it is about retaining and ensuring the achievement of our learners. Tutorial plays a huge part in this, and I feel that tutors in the first instance need to be accountable for the retention and the achievement of our young people through a model like a business model where students have initial advice and guidance at the beginning of their course through induction and one-to-one tutorials, mid-year and end-of-year appraisal systems for our learners to ensure that we set them targets and we raise their aspirations so that they progress through the levels with us. As a personal tutor myself, I have worked mainly with level 1 and level 2 students who had very small aspirations for themselves, lacked in confidence. from working with them as a personal tutor, ensuring they had regular support through one-to-one tutorials and set themselves targets for their qualification. Some of my students have progressed throughout the levels, which has meant the retention and achievement of our courses has increased. A number of our students have progressed on to HE courses at college. I feel it's really, really important that the personal tutors develop a relationship with the students and all have the same vision. So it's important that we provide training through twilight sessions and CPD days, allowing tutors to understand the tutorial provision and its purpose. I feel like I'm a really creative person that would develop the group tutorial provision and the enrichment provision that will support the employability and the personal development of each individual.
Thank you. Hello, Doctor. I'm Mark. I'm head of faculty. I'm actually a curriculum manager, an experienced curriculum manager, but most recently with 3 years' experience managing change through the introduction of Weston College to the OLAS provision. I tend to like to feel of myself as a leader, an inspirational leader who sets the example. Actions speak louder than words for my particular motive. And we set a positive ethos for the team based on Western values and Western vision. The team have bought into that, and that's what I would like to develop with this new college. We tend to set realistic targets based on a broad curriculum which covers functional skills, vocational delivery and personal social skills. That in the main meets the needs of the learners. It also meets the expectations of PRISM as well. We monitor that on a weekly and monthly basis so that we can make adjustments to the business plan. And we can also look at training aspects so that the tutors can improve their performance should there be a need. We're fully aware as a team of the college IQA systems. We're also aware of the awarding body criteria so that we can offer a quality provision. The results speak for themselves. We've got 85% of our teachers gaining observation grades of grade 2 and 1. Our year-on-year SAR results have now improved to the point where 3 of the 4 criteria graded are now outstanding. 16 out of the 18 of our courses that we deliver now have gained self-certification. The learner responses are extremely positive across the board, where we've also now put actions in based on, it's usually down to facilities, and that's limited through the environment that we're working in, and basically that's it. But we have put actions into place to modify and improve those. So all in all, I believe that I have the ability and the experience to improve the faculty should I be given that position. A learner came up to me recently and said, it's quite simple. By being involved in this department, I've been given a self-worth again. I've been made to feel a person. I'm now going to go out and look for a job and improve my family's circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mark, Paul, my name's Lawrence. I'm the principal. Part of my role will be to set the ethos and set the standards. And one section that I've done that within my own career so far is with traineeships. Progress was there before traineeships, and sometimes that is almost classed as a dirty word because it didn't hit financial targets and it didn't hit learner aspirations. And to be honest, sometimes it was just the start of a long, long carousel for these learners all the way through. Traineeship's ethos is completely different. Let's not start the carousel. Let's get them in, let's get them job ready, and let's get them onto an apprenticeship. We'll start their learning and their career early, and also keep them in touch with education from learning through it. We aim to create brighter futures, but we want learners to create them for themselves and use us and our facilities as a stepping point and to bounce off of us. We're 22% up on people going into employment from our course from last year. That's not successful outcomes as a whole, which would include FE, that is just into employment. We're 42% into employment from September to March, which is higher than any other provider at this present point in time delivering traineeships. We've been mentioned by the DOE twice in a row in the funding guidance for tailoring our programme and our approach to meet learner needs. But the difference between us and Progress is the fact that we do it cleverly through a triage system rather than flooding the area with staffing and resources and extra areas and expensive buildings. We want, as a team, all learners to succeed and develop and really flourish.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I was going to summarise, but I'll invite you to ask any questions at this point.
I can't help thinking, looking at the Ofsted report, and I know I can't hold you responsible because you'll be the people taking over, but the Ofsted report says management at Filton College is totally and utterly inadequate. So what are you going to do as a team to completely turn this round?
I think we're going to be robust, is the first thing. We're going to stand up, we're going to admit the failings of the past, we're going to dial down into the data, but also spend a lot of time walking in and out of lessons. Where hard decisions have to be made, people can either come with us or they can't, and it's up to them. And we'll have the data to prove to the unions, and we'll have the HR systems in place by working with the group as a whole to then make sure that actually the unions have no choice in our decisions.
Accountability is a really important part of our ethos as a team, and we'd sort of move that forward going into this college if we were invited to take that step with you.
How are you going to bring the wow factor to this college? Because in this day and age you've got to shine, haven't you? Mm-hmm. There's quite a few good colleges, there's quite a few inadequates. But how are you going to bring the wow factor? What's special about, not so much you as the team, but about your ambitions?
I think we are an ambitious team. I think what we need to do is, whilst we're keeping our eye on the baseline of what it is that we're doing and working to the projection of our fundability, what we want to do is invest in the things that that give us that extra bit of a wow. Whereas we need to improve the basic things that we're delivering without spending any money. And then what we need to do is build on top of that with the things that then give us the wow, which is things like building on our IT suite, building on the functionality of the library, a Moodle that can be used both within the college and at home to make sure that it's giving the student the edge over any other experience that they could have anywhere else.
From my experience, high needs funding is sort of often an area which isn't tapped into enough. So maybe within this college, high needs funding hasn't been accessed and utilised appropriately, and we could draw down funding very easily if the right diagnostic or the right initial assessments have been done and things like that. So high needs funding is an area which we could definitely draw down additional funding with.
Are you guessing, or do you know that about this college?
I haven't seen all the paperwork to identify the diagnosis of all those students that have their primary diagnosis. But often, a lot of learners don't, for example, disclose they have autism. They only disclose they have dyslexia or dyspraxia. So if we actually work with the tutors that support those students to actually identify all their needs, we could probably draw down additional high needs funding.
What worries you most if you were successful in being the team? What's your greatest worry about this role?
Hidden gremlins. Hidden gremlins, the unknown. I think that's everybody's worry.
I think it was Donald Rumsfeld that said, there are things that we know, there are things that we know that we don't know, and there are things that we know that we don't know, and it's those things that we know that we don't know. Are the things that we don't
I think it's inspiring the other areas of the college to embrace change and to get them to believe in what we are doing. I think that will be a challenge, and some will fall by the wayside, but they have to come with us. We represent an outstanding college, and that's what they need to aspire to.
Anything you want to ask of me before I conclude this interview?
No, I'd like to summarise. So to summarise, we have an extremely visionary leader. We have a strict financial control within Dan. Within Tanya, we have a dynamic student lead who's student-focused at all times. We have a motivated head of faculty, and I hope that I can bring creative ideas to lead this college in the right direction. We feel that we have the experience and the passion to lead this college. We're adaptable and we're robust to lead the college in with the government changes. And we have the drive and ambition to empower the staff that are currently in place and the students to achieve their goals.
Thank you very much.